Hello and welcome to day 31 of the 100 Days Challenge, where I'll try to build projects in public. As I said yesterday, I finally opted for continuing with the mobile games built in Flutter, and after finishing the Swipe the Ship game that is now being reviewed by the guys in Pakistan for the testing phase, I'm now building a new one that it's about building some tower games. I called it Stack or Crash, I think it's the name. I just forgot. Yeah, Stack or Crash. Basically, I wanted to do that, and since I moved the Android Studio installation from one hard drive to another, I had some issues while running the emulator today, so I spent mostly the day trying to fix that. And at the end, I just created one simple MVP of the game where I use a game widget from Flame. I have one game that I will show later, then one overlay that is the HUD, and within the HUD it's just a simple HUD where there's a score at the best, and then a crash if you are crashing. Just a pill, it's something to repeat one component instead of duplicating this code. And yeah, this is how it looks. Then for the game itself, we have this Stack or Crash game where we have the loop, and basically we initialize some tower manager plus the spawner. Basically we have a spawner that verifies that it adds one element every time to the tower, and then we have the tower manager that handles if it feeds on top of the other, etc, plus some methods that are used as helpers. And then we have here the loop where while it's not being crashed, we continue with the spawn next things. Then, as I said, we have this spawner that is in charge of spawning new components. Here we have different methods that can be used, and also the same with the tower manager that check if it's falling the blocks, which is the width, which is the position, etc. Finally, we have the block that is the component we use to have different kind of blocks later. It's a class that has the different properties depending on which type each, and later can be just stacked one on top of the other. And I'll show you just how it looks right now. I have here the two pills that I mentioned, and here we have one block on the bottom, then we have another one on the top. When I click, it just goes down, and depending on how it fits, it just takes that part. So just I go down, you can see here all the time, and in this case it has failed. It didn't show the error message, but it just crashed. For that reason it does not show anything else, and this is because we have a place here in the I don't know where it was exactly. Here, let me verify. We have this perfect here, not here. We verify that at least some parts of the game it's overlapping. So if it does not overlap, it's considered a fail. So there is this specific formula that it's not only fitting on top of, but it needs to be at least one ratio of the piece length. And yeah, I think that this is a good starting point. For sure, this is still ugly and some things to improve, but I have already the main mechanic. Then I'll try to improve on that, then improve later the kind of logs that we have, reduce them also, because now it's quite easy to just win. Also improve, so if as the game proceeds you just get it harder to solve. And then I'll reuse the two services that I built for the Swipe the Ship game, the one with the ads plus the one to save the things to local storage, because right now we just, well, not local storage, is the shared preferences plugin or dependency, and store all that information for the best plus the score, etc. in the shared preferences. That's all for today. As I said, I didn't have as much time as I wanted. It's also a tough week at work, so I don't have all the energy that I would require maybe, but let's see what tomorrow brings. Thank you for watching, and see you tomorrow on day 32.